Boys and girls, it's your boy here. Gonna do a walkthrough or track breakdown of a tune from the vault that I just put up on SoundCloud. Be sure to go check it out, link in the description. Also, I have a new EP coming out this month, September 18th on Omni Music, Clairvoyance EP. It's got 5 new tracks on it, including a remix by the man, Mokes, a good buddy in the atmospheric community. A couple releases on Omni, really talented producer. So super stoked about this. You can go pick it up on Juno, download, Beatport, and it'll be on Bandcamp, at Omni Music, all those great places. 5 fresh tracks. Go check it out. So for this tune here, just wanted to do a bit of a breakdown, kind of all the different elements and talk through how I whacked it together. We're at 165 BPM here. This is a long roller, 7.5 minutes here. And if we just look at the breakdown over on the left here in terms of tracks, didn't do the best organizing, but you'll see there's a good bit, in my opinion, of synths. So any type of atmospheric element grouped up here in the synths. And we start the tune slowly building up things, kind of like an old school tech house track, or, you know, every rotation we're bringing in a new element slowly to build up that atmosphere. First thing here is this low pad. Then we bring in some little bit of air here from another synth. But if I just pause right there, so we have this low pad, it's playing a chord. This is a patch I whacked together in the Korg Triton. We have some nice stereo painting on there to make it super wide. I did some crazy EQ because I'm nuts. And that is kind of the core element there, the core pad that glues the song together. And then we start building up the atmosphere with some other elements. And this is also from the Triton here. This is another patch I whacked together. Very airy pad, and you'll see on the EQ here, I wanted to keep it high up on the frequency range, so it fit nicely with the low pad. That's why I did a bit of EQ on the low pad. So these two together, starting to build that atmosphere there. We're sending the air through a nice reverb here, so it gets put out in space, gives a really nice atmospheric sound. And so, you know, first 8 bars, just the pad, then we bring in the air, and then we bring in a little bit of a progression here, also from the Triton. Again, slowly building up that atmosphere. If we go into the Triton, I think this is also a patch I whacked together in here. We have a tool to put it in mono, just trying to be cognizant of all my sounds and trying not to overload everything here. So if I put it in mono, I feel like I can control it a little better. And then when I send it through the delay, it does put it back out in the stereo field. But in my opinion, it's a little easier to wrangle. Bit of an EQ on there. I'll typically do a low cut here just to leave room for the bass on all the synth elements. So all that's going, and then we bring in a sweet, actually, one more thing to call out here. The low pad is playing a chord. This progression and the atmosphere are just playing single notes. If we were playing chords on both of those, it would be super muddy, a lot going on. It'd be hard to manage. So talked about it before. Use chords, notes sparingly. Really think about the sounds that you're bringing in and whether they need to be a chord or not, or you can use as single notes. So we're chugging along. We have our pad, we have our air, and then we have this little progression to introduce a little bit of melody, emotion into it. And then we bring in a sweep here, also playing a single note, also in mono, also from the delay too. I think this is just a default preset, so... Okay, then we bring in a little bit of a loop here. It's from some jungle sample pack. did an aggressive low cut on that, and it's kind of just a build up, little bit of rhythm, lets you know something's about to change, the break's about to drop, the bass, whatever it is. So we're building up the atmosphere, nice long intro. Bring in a little bit of rhythm with some drums, right? Very simple, just a little loop there, time stretch to the tempo. Big crash there. You'll see down here, just an audio sample from a 909. Bit of an EQ on there to keep it in the high end. Big delay on that, so we're using a delay eternity. And it sounds like this. Huge delay there. I think it sounds nice, transitions well, carries on, builds the atmosphere. Then we come in and drop the break here. Okay, so very basic two-step pattern there. We have our break chopped out. I have about 5 individual hits. We put the break in mono, cut out some of the low end to leave room for the bass. And then we're coming down here, and I was using a clipper on this. I guess I turned it off. I think it was just way too loud, and I didn't really need it. But what we did do is put a compressor on here. Right, very basic two-step pattern there, and it sounds nice layered up with that intro break here too. Very groovy, we're going along there, and then we have a piano stab here, kind of coming in every now and then with a big ping pong delay on there. That is playing a chord. I have a velocity curve on here just to keep the velocity low. I think EPs sound better when they're not pressed so hard, and then we're using a Bitwig strum here to strum the notes. Otherwise, it'd sound like really nice tool to use so you don't have to paint in the MIDI for that. This is just using a stock Korg Triton patch, classic digital EP. We have a little bit of saturation to help it stand out in the mix. Then we go into Tool, put it in mono, same thing, EQ out the low end. Big delay on there, big reverb. Nice ping pong delay. And there you go. So after this, we're still in the intro here, and then around 125, we kind of drop everything, bring in the bass, and then bring in a different rhythm with the break. Right, so the break is getting a little more full, has a little more rhythm into it instead of just being a kick snare. Right, and we drop out that intro break, and then we also dropped out a bunch of the synth elements here. So, we're sticking with just the low pad, the progression, and the EP, just creating a little more room in the space. I think it's a pretty interesting technique where you have this big wall of sounds, and then you just remove that wall of sounds, and it really causes that listener, in my opinion, to focus on just a few elements, and it just increases the clarity. Makes for a really nice moment in the tune. So other thing to call out here is the bass. This is very simple. Tal sampler, I have a bass in there. Very easy, right? I think I've put out a few videos on how to do this, so I'm not gonna walk through it all today. I'll have a link in the description for that. But yeah, bass is chugging along there, and that's kind of the bulk of it. So we move along in the song, right? We have these synth elements to play with for that atmosphere, and really it's just a matter of dropping those elements out, bringing them back in at different points to help progress the song, make it seem like it's evolving. Going back here, the break, maybe a little too static, but that's what we got. So then we come to the middle of the song, we have an actual break, a little break in the song, so we start to automate in a high string here, I believe. or we automate it out. So we bring this in, going into the break, and then we remove the drums. Really nice airy break there. We start to bring in this sample down at the bottom, this little wildlife sound. We have this put in mono, a little bit of saturation to help it stand out, big EQ to keep it high up. Then we have a little bit of a pan man in here to pan the sound around, make it seem like the wildlife is coming from all different directions into a big delay. And it's just, yeah, nice break here. We slowly automate the pad back in. You'll see as we get out of the break. Then we drop out all the synths and just have a little bit of a drum and an EP. And then we did slowly mix up the drum pattern here. I think we added in some ghost kicks, double kicks, whatnot, and then we kind of just go back into things. That's kind of the gist of it, guys. So that's how I whacked that one together. I did do a little bit of a ghetto master on here, nothing crazy. I'm not a mix engineer. I'm not an expert on mastering, but what I did on the master bus is just threw on a clipper, put it on a hard clip, just to chop off some of those peaks, and that gives me more room to raise the overall volume. So that's what I then did with a tool. Just bump the gain up, then have that running into a limiter, and the limiter doesn't have to work as hard because you're not getting these crazy peaks in there. And that's really what I did. That's the bedroom master there for SoundCloud. Otherwise I would have sent it off somewhere. But yeah, folks, that's how we did that. Hopefully that was insightful, gave you some ideas, some thoughts, some ways to think about things. Again, be sure to go check out the new EP, September 18th, this freaking month. Omni Music, Clairvoyance EP under my moniker Thought Forms. I love you. Goodbye.